but that he thought that it would help improve border security.
Yeah, well, it really did a good job on that. The point that I want to make about it is,
well, we would love for him to come on the show and talk about it again.
Absolutely. The big problem that I have with it is that the vote was tied 215 to 215. All right.
This is the CAFTA vote.
The CAFTA vote in the U.S. House, and it was Representative Jeff Miller that broke the tie after they suspended voting, had a few hours of conversations, come back into the room. That was the deciding vote.
Yeah, I don't know that he broke the tie, but had he voted the other way, it wouldn't have passed.
Right. And so, you know, while we're out there, you know, you took your shot at Governor Crist because he took a few $1 billion in stimulus. What about you? You know, you traded our sovereign, the United States of America, our sovereign nation. You handed away in that vote, and to Congressman Miller, you can get upset with me, you can be mad about what I'm saying right now, but the bottom line is I'm not the only one that feels that way. I think it was a very bad vote. But,
of course, he's always free to introduce a bill that would reverse CAFTA and NAFTA.
Right.
Any legislator can do that.
Now, on a local thing, you know, look, I'm just a guy who tries to remember stuff. That in election season, when certain politicians only show up for about 6 months of a 2-year term, Representative Miller told us 2 different times in 2 election cycles that he had secured funding for the 4-laning of Avalon Boulevard. Neither of those times did any of that happen. I took it so far as to I suggested that we get the police involved, and one of my friends said, "What do you mean get the police involved?" I said, well, obviously someone has stolen $24 million because I've read it in the newspaper that $24 million was appropriated for Avalon Boulevard. So we need to get the state police involved in this. Somebody must have stolen it. Now, I say that jokingly, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I think people who, you know, Jeff Miller should worry about Jeff Miller, and I watch this kind of stuff, and I just don't think there's any place for it. You know, you need to be able to stand on your own merits, not stand on your perceived notions of what the governor may or might not have done. You know, it's just really ridiculous.
Well, we'd certainly love to have Representative Miller on the show.
yeah, at any time, Representative Miller, feel free. Kind of a two-edged thing here. Before the State of the Union address, Representative Jeff Miller had a meeting at his office where he addressed the people that were at his office. And
yes.
It was billed as a tea party at Representative Miller's office. Now, I'm not going to say anything. You know, if Jeff Miller is able to convince people to go to his office and call it a tea party, that's their personal prerogative. I have watched and been a part of. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Deborah and I were one of the first group of people to be standing on the side of the road, waving at cars and out there with the folks in the first Tea Party demonstration in Santa Rosa County. So I know what the movement is about.
Yeah, I wasn't participating in that. I was filming it. Just let me clarify that.
Okay.
I'd like to slip that in.
Okay. All right.
You were participating.
I was participating there.
You had a good old time.
The Tea Party movement, the true Tea Party movement, we're questioning everybody who's in office. You know, there has been a hijacking of the Tea Party by some elected officials.
Yes.
And I'm just going to go on record and say, in my humble opinion, at a Tea Party event, an elected official should not be there. It's not about the elected officials. It is about the people taking back America that belongs to us. And I want to caution and for my friends and for whoever watches this program, you don't need to let politicians join in the Tea Party. I just don't think there's any place for them. They have, whether by looking the other way or whether by actively participating in taking America from us, they're still there. And I just don't think there's any place for them to be at tea parties.
It's a good idea, though, as well with the Tea Party activities. It's a good idea to go out and do some solid research on the subjects that you're planning to picket about.
Yeah, well, you know, look.
It's good to be an informed Tea Partier.
This is not the first elected official that's tried to hijack the Tea Party movement.
Right.
Okay. I actually spoke with a fellow from Alabama who was very active and was building his organization, and he actually suspended some of their activities because he couldn't get the flea off the dog. The politician came in there and was trying to hijack and using party pressure and things of that nature to interject in it. So they said, well, my business is not participating. If you, the politician, intend on speaking at this, my business is not going to support that Tea Party. And I certainly applaud that. Ladies and gentlemen, politicians are not the answer to the problem in the United States of America, in our county, in our city. What is the solution to our problem is public servants, people who want to make their community better, and we don't need any more of the greed and the gluttony that has gone on in the last few years. So with that said, we got a couple more ballot measures.
Yeah, we have 2 amendments going to be on the ballot this fall.
Remember, let's reiterate, Amendment 4 be the hometown democracy.
Florida hometown democracy.
Which we discussed earlier.
That would require a vote on comprehensive plan land use changes.
Right, and that would be statewide vote, ladies and gentlemen. This is everybody's going to vote on this. So we're going to do Amendment 5 and Amendment 6, so go ahead.
5 and 6, and again, this would amend the Florida Constitution. They're designed to prevent gerrymandering.
Right.
And that's when usually it's whichever party is in power, when they redraw the districts for U.S. Congress and for the state legislature, a lot of times they'll sort of skew them.
You mean move the lines around so there's more Democrats or more Republicans in there?
Right. Skew them in a way that...
You mean my elected officials would do that?
That's the charge.
Oh, okay.
That would tend to, favor obviously the incumbents and the party in power and preserve their majorities in those districts. And so we've got Amendment 5, which pertains to legislative districts.
Okay, so that's your state house and your state senate.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we have Amendment 6, which is U.S. congressional districts.
Well, go ahead and read Amendment 5. Now, this is the verbiage that will be on the ballot, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the summary, and they're actually identical, except that the first one is the state and the second one is U.S. Congress.
Right.
Legislative districts or districting plans, so that's the lines around your district, may not be drawn to favor or disfavor an incumbent or political party. Districts shall not be drawn to deny racial or language minorities the equal opportunity to participate in the political process and elect representatives of their choice. Districts must be contiguous, so you can't have a little glob here and a little glob here. They've got to be contiguous. Unless otherwise required, districts must be compact, as equal in population as feasible, and where feasible, must make use of existing city, county, and geographical boundaries.
Right. And look, of course, I don't study that as much as I should as far as the gerrymandering and the issue here, but ladies and gentlemen, when you start look at some places in some of the other states in the United States of America, it is unbelievable how they will draw lines to make sure one party can maintain power.
Well,
or to keep minorities, just exactly what this says. They will keep, it will absolutely, they'll draw a circle around an area to keep minorities from ever having a minority representative.
Right.